Alright, so back with another GTI video. Finally getting back into this car and doing some stuff today that I've been dying to do. This is going to be a comprehensive guide. I'm going to try and go slow. I'm going to try and be concise. I'm going to try and make it where there's some points where you could stop and pause and look at what I'm doing and be able to use it as a guide in case you get lost, because there's a lot of stuff going on down here. I mean, we did start the process of shaving a lot of the day. Reservoirs are gone, batteries been relocated. There's so much left to clean up. The next step of the process to make my life easier is to get rid of the emissions and smog, the secondary air, all that stuff. So I'm going to get right into showing you what you need before you start. First thing you need is a 5-piece resistor kit. You can get it from Euro Tuning. You can get it from Carrot Top Tuning, which is where I got mine from. It's going to run you about 50 bucks. And what these resistors are going to do is they're going to go plug into place right where everything you're deleting was. So for your N249, your N80, all that stuff is going to be, obviously is going to go crazy, throw engine lights and whatever. This is designed where it does not do that. And you're going to want, we get to further into the video when I install the catch can, you're going to want either a vent to atmosphere or like I'm doing, which is venting to the valve cover and then to the PCV. You need some kind of a catch can system. And then this is just kind of something that I just always wanted to throw on, that I've had for a while now. It's already got my AN fitting set up, where I'm going to plug the catch can right into the valve cover. It's already set up for that. So those are really the things that you're going to need. You're also probably going to want an aluminum flange for where your coolant temp sensor goes, because you're going to be taking off the plastic one anyway in this video to put on a block off plate. And those pieces I can show you here. That flange there with the temp sensor coming out of it, they're brittle plastic. If yours is really old like mine is, 21, 22 years old, the age of the car probably, it's probably going to break on you if it hasn't already. So just go get that. It's maybe 15, 20 bucks for this piece. It's going to come with a new gasket, all that stuff. So that's the gist of what you need. So let's start extremely simple so we don't overwhelm ourselves. Start with the easiest piece to remove, which is the N80. So it's this piece right here, this guy right there, and then associated with it, it will be going to your intake manifold at the top, and then the other piece will be going right here. You're going to rip these off, and also here it goes up to like a canister. I think it's like kind of like a charcoal canister in a way. So let's do that and we'll go from there. So please bear with me. I am working with one hand and then one hand filming, so there's going to be stuff where I stop and show you, just go back and show you what I did. But to start with this piece right here, there's this bracket with two 10mm bolts that's holding all this in here. So I'm going to just pop this out real quick. So now that's free. Take this stupid bracket out the way. I unplugged my N80, by the way, as you can see right here. Unplug that. I'm going to wrap it around my steering reservoir. Put this out of the way. I'm just going to cut that. I'm also making a little box here, parts box, to throw in everything that we remove. I'm definitely going to end up needing a bigger box than this for sure. We'll see this thing fill up as we go. You have an idea of how much stuff actually comes out during this process. Okay, so we unbolted that. What I did next was I went up here, and you have these two lines that go right into the canister. I disconnected one already. How they disconnect, there's just a button here. You just pinch it, pull up. Now you're gonna hear a little bit of a hiss, like it's relieving vacuum pressure, because it is. So that's totally normal. Pro tip, don't cut yourself, start bleeding everywhere like I did. Some of this stuff is sharp plastic. So yeah, all right, so this is all loose now. Essentially, just pull that off. Pull that off. So these are all loose, right, on this end. And now we just got this end. So the manifold here comes off, so you're gonna break this connector, probably cut it, whatever. And the same here. And we're gonna pull those off. So this is your whole piece here. All these lines, add into the box. There we go. All right. So before we forget, and I did forget to say this in the beginning, one other thing that you do need is some vacuum caps and vacuum line. So you could just buy a kit like this from Amazon or wherever. It has an assortment of different cap sizes and whatever that'll suit you. So I'm going to cap these off before I forget. I'm going to cap everything off as I go. I'm not going to wait till the end. And I'm going to put the resistor in as well. Okay, so cap that off, and then for your resistors, the kit, it's going to be the biggest one, the big oval one. It's going to go for the N80. Also, don't forget to cap these off as well. And this hard line here, by the way, this goes, if you follow it, you're going to have to, best bet's just remove your fender. There you go. I took the fender off to give you guys a clearer view. So yeah, this ran through here. Goes to 3 blue balls. And then you're just going to remove this. And now this section of the motor will be done. The whole left side will be done. All right, so those are gone. It's 2 8mm nuts that were on here. I'll take those off, and we're adding up. Everything's adding up already. All right, so moving on from this side of the motor is done. Gonna move on to here now. All right, so bear with me. Quick break in the video. It's been 2 months now since I uploaded that first portion of the video. So now, as you see, we got a few different things going on. So this will help everybody kind of figure out exactly what we're deleting, give them a more straightforward view of the car. I only did this because I have other stuff going on. Like if you've followed the channel, I'm rerouting and tucking, shaving the harness and rerouting different things. So this will at least give you guys a more straightforward approach on what's going on. So to continue, like I said, we started here. We're gonna move our way this way. So next is gonna be right here. We're gonna delete all these vacuum lines here. And then we're gonna move on to delete our pump, SAI pump, right here. And then with that, your car probably won't have a breather on the end of this. I just put that on because I swapped my intake out. I had a cold air intake that went down to the footwell. This, on a lot of aftermarket cold air intakes, this hose that goes to the secondary air injection pump will go to right into the side of the intake piping. So that's not there, obviously. Let's just start now with getting rid of these lines and where they go, which are these two here. You can basically cut. One goes to your diverter blow-off valve, and the other goes to your Combi valve down here. So both of those are going to be disconnected, so you can cut them. And then we're going to remove these first, so let's get started on that. So this is going to be, these Allen bolts are a 5. All right, so this is going to come out now, and you're going to have 2 sensors that are connected to this that you'll need to put resistors on that we talked about earlier. One is here, and one is underneath right there. And then you're going to disconnect this line here, and like I said, you can cut these two right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Disconnect our sensors first. And here, this is something that you never want to see, so I disconnected this sensor and I disconnected this one under, but as I was doing it, I had a lug pop out of the connector, and you know, that's just from over time, just from stress of tugging. It was a good crimp because I'm pulling on it and it's not coming out of the jacket, but it popped out of the connector, and you know, you're gonna see stuff like that, and that's why I'm doing these deletes, because this car was, you know, running strange and having some weird stuff, and the culprit could be anything here. So all right, so you see I cut off here, here, and another one that went on right there. So this is now gone, and I got a bigger box because we're gonna need it. Throw that in there. All right, let's get rid of this ugly pump here. So how we're gonna do that is there are 3 bolts holding it into the motor. So you got one there, which in my car is already gone, one there, and then one right next to the dipstick there. So they are 8 Allen. So I'm gonna have to clean that out with a brush first, as this car had a serious oil leak at one point, and that bolt is clogged with oil, so let me do that. All right, so this ugly thing's out. The side that goes to the intake is still on. I left it on. The other side that goes to the Combi valve is still on. I'll take it off once the Combi valve comes off, obviously. I took a hose off my diverter valve because that's not needed, because it's gonna be direct circulation from the diverter valve to the intake manifold now, which is much better. For me, it's gonna be a little different because I have a new manifold that I'm gonna put on, so I'm gonna do that first. So I gotta take off my fuel rail here and get it out of the way so I can get to these bolts. But next, you're gonna just take these 2 vacuum lines out that go, they're for your brake booster. You only need to run 1. You don't need to run 2 of them. And you could, if you want this install to look a little cleaner like I'm going to be doing, you can run it under on one of the other ports here. So I'm going to do it that way, but first I have to swap the manifold out. So let me do that. All right, so here we are. So out with the old and in with the new. Been dying to put this thing on. So now that that's done, you see I have all these lines that go, anything that's going under to the manifold, remove it, get rid of it. Then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go up to the intake here. I'm gonna get rid of this vacuum line right here, pop that out. There should be a plug if you got the Euro tuning kit that comes with that. If not, you can make your own plug. So let's take that out. So I cut that. All right, so that's free now. Then you're gonna cut the other line that would just follow the hard line, and then just cut the other end of it where it meets the rubber hose again. And with that, you'll be removing this piece, another for the pile. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, I got my brake booster line here. You're gonna cut it here. Be very careful not to cut the actual connector, hard connector. Cut that carefully, take your time, wiggle it out. If you mess it up, you can try again here on the other side. The thing is, you're gonna basically be making a new line. When you cut it, put it on, and you're gonna have an option. Like I said, I'm going underneath because I want it to be a cleaner looking install, but you probably will want to go off of this one. And then once we do that, we'll move on to getting rid of the Combi valve and the coolant flange on the side here. I'm swapping it with an aluminum one, which you probably will want to do as well, because these are brittle plastic. So to remove the Combi valve here, you have 2 5mm Allens. So they're right going to the side of the block there. To make this easier, get rid of your coolant temp sensor and the flange first, because you're not going to be able to get to that bolt there, because you could see that the fitting for the coolant hose that I took off here is in the way. There's no way you're getting to that. So let's take that off first. So how you do that is there's basically, I've replaced this sensor before. There's like a little, it's a tab. Let's call it a tab. So you pull it out like that. And that releases the sensor. So you could just pull it straight out. So doing that, hang it up here. Do not lose this tab. And you're gonna lose coolant, you know, so just be prepared for that. you are going to lose coolant. So let's see. You got bolt there, and there should be another one, I'd imagine, somewhere. Okay, so I unbolted my 3 bolts, my 5mm bolts from the Combi valve. I broke it loose, and then your vacuum reservoir that you have here, that in most cars you'd see it mounted on the top of the valve cover. Cut the line that goes to, because it's not needed. Get rid of that. And then the last thing that should be holding it, that should be connected to, if we look here, let's see, what do we have? We have, this was the line that goes to the diverter valve. We disconnected that. We have a small vacuum line to disconnect there. And then one right here, that guy that the light is on. So you'll see it. I mean, you know, you got to use common sense, obviously, and just look at what the hell it's connected to and remove it. So here's the Combi valve out and all the lines associated with it. And another thing to the bucket. This thing's getting crazy now. Look at that. Look at that mess. So one thing to note when you're taking that Combi valve off, well, 2 things. One is there's a harness, wiring harness that goes to your coils. So you'll see it here. It runs, it's bolted to the side of that hard rail from the Combi valve. So you got to just pop that off, cut them, whatever, not the wiring, but cut the connectors that hold it in, like that style push pin stuff, or just pull and they'll probably break on their own. And then this is the point where you could see you need your block off plate. So I'm going to put the block off plate on where the Combi valve was before I put my new coolant flange on. So this is it here. Block off plate. So I'm going to put that on. All right, so block off plate is installed right there. Next I have my new flange and gasket, so I'm going to put that on now. So as you can see at this point, I have my new flange on, and then I went ahead and removed this line here that was going into the valve cover. And then because I am going to be removing, this whole piece here, I'm going to be removing this in a minute. So you're going to pull out this tab here, kind of like the coolant temp sensor, and it's going to release that. And that's part of how I'm going to be running my catch can. So there's that tab there. It's like a little horseshoe. Don't lose that. Go ahead over here and move that out. There we go. Once again, keeping that ring just in case I need it. This, add to the pile. This is a box of everything that was in here, so you get an idea of what it looked like. So I got my valve cover on, as you can see. It's looking so good. I love it. But we're gonna go over now everything that we've done and everything that's remaining in one shot here. So basically, what we have left here is you're gonna put your fuel pressure regulator. There's 2 smaller ports under the intake manifold. Your fuel pressure regulator is gonna go to one. Your vacuum line for your diverter valve is gonna go to the other. Direct connect right there. Then this one's gonna get capped, and this one is an option where you can run it to your brake booster here. I cut off the line already. Or, like we discussed earlier, if you want a more practical use, you can just go right to here, the larger port, which would be better for your braking system. So there's that. Then what else we haven't done here is the top here, the puck, right? You gotta cap that. Or if you're gonna go mathless and you're gonna get like one of those really nice clean intakes, get rid of the math, get a mathless tune. If you have like a bigger turbo application, that's pretty much what that's used for. you will pretty much just get rid of this. But if you're keeping it, cap this line here that went to your Combi valve, and then you're also going to cap this one here off the intake. So I haven't done that yet, but that's what you got to do. And then your catch can, the last thing, you're gonna have a hole here, right? And then if you have a catch can kit, it's gonna come with this adapter piece. There's gonna be this green ring here that came off of here. Do not lose it, because you're gonna put it on here. So I'm not gonna mount my catch can yet, but I'll show you how it's done, because I don't know where I'm putting it yet. There's a lot that I still have to do with this car. So it's gonna go in, the adapter, gonna sit right in there. And then you're gonna put the tab ring back in to lock it in place. And then one end is gonna go from there to your catch can. There's 2 ports. No matter what kind of catch can you have, it'll have two ports. So one goes from there to it, and then the other will go from the side of your valve cover to the catch can. So that's how you're gonna mount that. A lot of people have kits where they come with an adapter that allows you to go here. I think the kid that I bought this from, I think he somehow had it mounted off of this here, because that's just what the angle bracket looks like. I don't see anywhere else that this would go. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I am going to get the tuck kit to get rid of this extra injector wiring, so maybe it'll fit better then, but I still don't think it'll be clearing with the fuel pressure regulator in the way, but we'll see. Everything else here, relatively straightforward. Make sure your stuff's vacuum capped off like this here. These, just go over your work. Go over it 2 times, 3 times, however many times you need to make sure that you did it right. And another important thing to remember is make sure you replace these maybe once a year, because they're just brittle. You know, they're just plastic or rubber caps, so they're going to deteriorate after about a year of driving, or even a year if the car's just sitting doing nothing. I would still just replace them. You can get a kit like this. I said 10 bucks on Amazon with an assortment of sizes. And then the other important thing to remember is you're going to have codes. Even though you use the resistors, you're going to have a code for getting rid of the secondary air pump. So you're going to have to get the car tuned regardless. There's tunes that people offer that'll get rid of that. You guys did so much work here. You want to make sure you have everything running to its best ability. And then what you did here basically is you made your life a hell of a lot easier to diagnose vacuum leaks and boost leaks. So basically anything before the throttle body here is a boost leak, and then everything after it would be considered a vacuum leak. But you really only have a couple of lines now, as opposed to dozens and dozens that could be giving you a vacuum leak. So I hope this video helped you guys. Appreciate it if you watched the full way through. Please like, share, and subscribe if you liked it and it helped you. And if you want to see more stuff, this is the channel to be, because I'm going to be doing a bunch more deletes on this car. In terms of tucking the harness, getting this wire tunnel out of here, I'm going to go with a different style. I have my battery trunk mounted. There's video on that, a very in-depth video on how to do that with this style. I'm going to be, getting a different box here, different fuse box, all that. So there's a lot more to do on this car, and if you want to watch the process, please sub to the channel. I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one. Thank you.